What's going on, guys? So I wanted to do a video real quick talking about my new JVT 59 Variax guitar. I've looked at hundreds, had to be, while I was ordering this guitar, and then even after I purchased it, I was watching endless videos, and there's a couple things that I didn't see on the couple videos that I've seen that I wanted to go over with you guys, and maybe it'll help you on figuring out if you want to get the 59 or even if you want to get a Variax. So let's talk about it. Alright guys, so maybe this will help you out if you're trying to figure out which Variax to go with, or if you have a few guitars, maybe this will help point in the right direction. So I have a few odd-end bodies, Rainy Road style. I have a Gibson Flying V, but mainly I have a lot of Les Paul bodies, and they all have the same thing in common. Mahogany body type, it's a neck set, jumbo frets, very thin, girthy necks, but they all have humbucking. They all have, well, two of them really have the pull coils for tapping, and they all have 4 knobs. So the one thing that is different that I think is probably the closest that made me want to get a Variax is this one. This is one of my very favorite. It's a Dean Evo Tiger Eye, and this one has 1 tone, 1 volume. It's very different from all the other guitars. It has some great Demaro Zero pickups in it, but it is one of my favorite guitars. It looks fantastic. The neck is very well set. I have short, stubby, small finger hands, and my hands fit really well around the whole body. The one thing that I want to point out is that all of my Les Paul body styles have different neck sets. So this one in particular has a cut-in body style, but it's slender on the side, so I can get nice into the bottoms. When we look at the Epiphone that I have, this one's a little different. The Epiphones have a straight cut, but it is not cut on a slant, so you have to wrap your hands around the guitars. Other than that, this one does have these custom Les Paul pickups in it from Epiphone. The jumbo frets. The neck set is more of a C shape than it was on the Dean. A different body type that is a little different is this LTD WA600 Lamb of God series. This one has a neck set, and the neck is actually morphed into the side of this guitar. So I had all these other guitars that I would play, and mainly I would keep picking up all these Les Paul sounds, mainly because I love the tone that the body presents. So the other thing you won't notice is I don't have a Strat in my collection, and that's for a solid reason. I absolutely hate when my finger hits the pots, the closest volume to the pickup. I have a very wide swing on my my picking style, and it absolutely annoys me when I kind of hit that pot. It's just very stupid. The other thing that made me go with the 59 is I love the body style. Not only that, but I like the clear cut, the lacquer finishes, the very awesome tops that you can put on these mahogany bodies. And I do like the style of what a Les Paul looks like. The standard style wasn't my, while it did intrigue me, I didn't care for the 2 set knobs, and even when you go to the newer standard for the JTV, I wasn't caring too much about the dial on top of the neck. So that kind of really dragged me over to the 89, which is the standard, or the Floyd Rose. I have a ton of Floyd Rose already, but if I'm going to have the ability to change tuning, I really don't want to mess with having a Floyd Rose. So that left me with this amazing 59. And I will tell you that the neck set from here all around with my small hands is absolutely amazing. I would definitely say it is the in-between of a Epiphone Pro Custom and a Dean Tiger Eye. It is probably the best fit neck for my hands and the in-between of those two models. I would say the LTD model is more of a drastic cut on the neck, but this feels absolutely fantastic in my hands. It is very heavy. As a matter of fact, I have this very thick Levi Strauss strap to kind of help me offset the weight. The way that the toe knobs fit into the body and the different body style, I'm a super fan of. The Graphtec nut I've used for years. You don't need to add any type of graphite. You don't need to adjust them at all. And the tuning pegs, I think, are just fine as is. Some people change them up for locking tuners, and that's cool, but I really don't have a whole too much to say about it. Now, I will say one thing that I've seen over and over and over again on forums, which is how do you adjust the intonation on the PCOS? So there's two ways. To raise it up and down, you have an Allen wrench that you have to screw up and down just like you would for a flathead screwdriver on a 2-pneumatic bridge, right? Now to move this bridge on an angle back or forth, you have these Allen wrenches in the back that you have to use. Also, for the saddles, you have these Allen keys up in front. Now that is the most complaint I've seen by far on a lot of forums. Now the one thing I don't mind about it is because all my 2-pneumatic bridges I have flipped around. Instead of having the screwdriver on this side, I flipped it on the pickup side. Why? So I don't have to keep restringing or loosening my strings. It's a lot easier to get a screwdriver, put it in between the strings, and loosen it. With the long Allen key they give you, if you don't use the short end, if you use the long end, you can actually put it right in and then just do quarter turns to get the PCO moved whichever way you want, and it moves just fine. I didn't have to adjust anything on it. So overall, it's definitely what I wanted to feel like, and it has a great sound to it. Let's talk pickups. So on the mags, they have a great sound to them. They do have a very different, unique tone than the high gain outputs they have on mine. I would say if I had to compare it in between my guitars, it would definitely fit in between the Epiphone custom wound pickups and the Dean DiMaggio pickups. They are not a very high output pickup, but they are definitely something where if you adjust your helix, if you add the filter or the tilt or a distortion pedal, you'll get what you need. And a matter of fact, once you get into Workbench, you can do all sorts of things with those pickups and double up pickups and make them very high output guitar settings. So pickups I love. I wound up getting this one in particular from Sweetwater. I wound up picking out my own flame top on the top. Got it shipped. It was here within a couple weeks. Had absolutely no problem. The one thing I've seen over and over and over again is people receiving their guitars in boxes that are damaged, that have messed up electronics. Nothing works. Some people talk about plecking their guitar. I didn't even know that was an option until after I got mine. But with that said, my guitar came just fine. I didn't have to do anything crazy. Didn't have to have anything reset or trimmed down or sanded. So I'm a firm believer in Sweetwater. I've bought a few things to them. Every one of their guitars that I've bought always get checked. They get refined before they get sent to me. And I know absolutely 100% I'm getting a quality guitar. They're the salesperson I'm dealing with pretty much told me straight up that if there's an issue with this guitar, they'll send it back and get me a new one, or they'll work with me in getting another one. So I just love the customer service. So if you find a great deal, let's say on a retail or open box, just be aware that you don't always get that quality that you do with some other businesses. So I'm just a very fan of Sweetwater. Not that they're sponsoring this video, but that's just my experience with buying a brand new Variax from them. So let's talk about the PCOS. I have tried the factory settings, and I even went into I think it's called V Guitar. It's a forum where people upload their own settings from Workbench. And I want to find an individual who made what's called a realistic bundle. And so I dropped all of the factory settings. I loaded up his presets. And I wound up downgrading back to the factory, which I believe this is in 2.23. I absolutely love both of them. I think there's pros and cons to both sets. It's just really up to what you like in your ear. I mean, everyone's going to be different. I don't think this is any different than buying any type of module setting or effect or anything like that, and then hearing it and going, I want to change this. I mean, we all do it to everything. So they have gotten really close with the models they have. I think there are a lot of creative people who made some great bundles or banks that you can learn from and how to tweak and how to edit your own guitar. Alright guys, so let's talk about the Workbench. When I did my update, I do have a Helix floor, but I wanted to see how long it would take to do it through the computer. Download update, hooked in the firmware cord to the computer, made sure to include my 1/4-inch TRS guitar cable in while I was doing this, just like the instructed state. It downloaded 60 presets to include 10 customs, which is 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom. And like I said, it maybe took 8-10 minutes, nothing too long, to update on the Variax. But when you get it, it looks just like this. You can download the software and look at it without having it being hooked up, so you kind of get a feel of the program. I like the simplicity of how this works. So I'll show you a couple models that I've tweaked that I'm using this weekend. As you can see, this is a standard telly. I want to tweak in and just rotating the pickup just a little bit. I like the way the tone puts out. On the next model, as you can see, I wound up doubling up not only the neck Stratocaster pickup, but the lipstick pickup for the neck as well. I think the two have a really cool blend. This is something that would never happen in a normal guitar. Let's be honest. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with this that are just not realistic on normal guitars. On the next one, it's a standard telly. This one's a little bit different. Let's go to the pickups. So on my bridge, I have a wide range humbucker tilted. And on the neck, I have a lipstick that's just a little bit turned down on the level, but it has a great tone to it through all the reverbs and the distortions and stuff, or overdrives that I'm using. So sometimes if you don't like a tone of a pickup, you know, a little bit of a rotation or a little bit turning down, or adding another pickup that you may want to blend together is a really great idea. Down here, if you want to adjust the magnetics with the models, you can do it down here. The preset volumes I haven't really messed with. The individual who made that realistic bundle did go through each and every one of these presets and adjusted the volume, so when you would have switched to a telly, to a R-belly, to a chime or something, all the volumes would be the same. I don't think that I'm gonna go through 60 guitars at once. I think if I'm do what I normally do, which is every week and adjust all my set list, I'm going to adjust the preset to all of the presets on the set list. So I'm not too worried about the guitar. If I feel like I'm pushing the amp really hard and I'm like, man, I really wish the guitar was louder, I'll probably go in here, I'll just tweak the volume, and I'll hit upload to Variax, and it's a done deal. When it comes to strings, you can adjust it on here, but really, honestly, like I said, I have the Helix, so I'll adjust it into the set, the preset, and I'll adjust it as needed. I'm not too worried about having custom tuning into the guitar at the moment. I haven't really dabbled too much with that virtual capo, but there is a lot of really cool ideas you can get with it, so I haven't hit to the point where I'm messing with that yet, though. Couple cool things to note, and a lot of people have said this. So if you feel like your strings are maybe one's louder than the other, or one's not loud enough, you can definitely turn some of these down, boost the volume, keep one of your strings, let's say the G string or B string, louder, and kind of get that overall loud
feeling that you think you're missing. When it comes to pots, here's where a lot of the magic for me, I think, happens. So the resistant value on your volume control adds a lot. Obviously, if you have a 500 ohm pot, it's going to be quite significantly louder. I feel like a lot of Strats, a lot of Tellies, you can get some really cool Strat tones from 100 or 250 ohm pot. The same goes for your resistance. So what I've done and gotten used to is if I get a cool pickup tone and I feel like the treble isn't there, I've actually found myself in my presets adjusting the resistance and the capacitance on a Variax guitar more than actually messing with my EQ and my Helix, which is absolutely amazing because when I switch guitars, I don't have to worry about adjusting the patch again. And that does save a lot of that programming time. When it comes to taper, I always choose linear because I think it sounds better. And I highly suggest you do the same.
All right, guys, so that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the quick video running down the Workbench, what I like to use for guitar settings and how I do my guitar pickups, why I chose the 59 over the others. As for me, I think having the ability to change up guitars in the middle of a preset or change pickups, I think it's a really cool idea. And it opens up a whole new level of creativity when building presets. So if you have any questions, anything you want to see or go more in detail, post them below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the reminder button. I am putting a whole bunch more videos up here soon, so keep posted. See you guys later.